Right, let's get it. The Mandela Effect, yeah. Bakulun. Ba istaf ba. Anuki fi ba. Bakulun. Ba istaf ba. Anuki fi pa ashuk shil kulum wakul ashuk kalun fi ni. Anuki farogun shil kulum wakul kalun farogun shil ni. Anuki wahed ka kulum wakul kalun wahed ka ni. Nuk aikilu anjihu.
With the sickness of a minimalist cannabis, I floats like a cumulus. And my perpetual rebel intellectual won't get your bad experience with hallucinogenic either. I flow strictly with the as my beats fall deep as hallucinogenic either. I flow strictly with the as my beats fall deep as in the scriptures and graphic. The bone is like Picasso painting pictures. If my eyes ain't red,
It's all in my head. The PhD, man. Guys, we're gonna do this Mandela Effect live, yeah, because I feel like doing it. I'm restless, so I'm just gonna get it out. It's about the Mandela Effect, what it means for us, what it really is, all that type of stuff. If you're viewing and you're gonna stay with us, feel free to put down any questions in the comments, and I'll try and address them. Yeah, give me 2 minutes. Let me finish this smoke, and we'll get on with it. Since I put these books out, this and Coronation, as soon as these books come on TikTok, the videos get flagged, and then I get striked, and then I end up losing accounts. So basically, I sell the books on Instagram, because anywhere I put them, even sometimes on Amazon, they flag them. They don't want us to have this truth out. So if you guys really want these books, you're gonna have to come over to Instagram and buy direct. You can get any of them. You can get the ones about the snake bite. You can get the novel. Yeah, you can get the history books, Treasures in the Sun and all that, because you know we are polymath out here. We touching all of these subjects because we need to know everything about everything. That's how I look at it. But yo, we're going to speak about this Mandela Effect. I've been asked to speak about it by someone close to me, so I'm going to speak about this, yeah? And simply because of the fact that it's a good topic for us to speak about anyway, because once we crack what's really going on with the Mandela Effect. Guys, is the music low enough? If the music's too high, yeah? When am I coming for a haircut? I'm coming soon, man. If the music's too high, let me know, yeah? But yeah, the Mandela Effect is a good topic for all of us to crack open, because it's like, it's got tentacles in all these other headline stories that we see coming on the news. It's connected to various different layers of this. Let's just call it a psyop, this modern day psyop. So I was glad when I was asked to speak about the Mandela Effect, because I wanna remember to speak about it. I'm thinking about all the other stuff and not thinking about even stuff like this, the Mandela Effect. Most people, they might have heard the word being thrown around here or there, but they don't really grasp the significance of what is meant when somebody be telling you, yo, that's the Mandela Effect, and you're like, what do they mean by that's the Mandela Effect? What is it? I'm going to give you a background first so we can understand it better. I always believe that in order to give knowledge, you have to give knowledge in context, yeah? Because knowledge without context is context. And you could be coming from any angle, and then anybody can make anything fit whatever narrative, yeah? But when you're giving people context, then you're giving them more than just an opinion. You're giving them something that they can go and verify within context. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you the background first. We have to go back to 1943, the Philadelphia experiment. If you see me looking down, I'm reading from my bullet points, yeah? We have to go back to 1943, the Philadelphia experiment, yeah? Which was in America. I'm going to blast through this Philadelphia experiment bit, because you guys can research that for yourself and get all the facts from your own Google search or whatever search you do, yeah? But basically in 1943, the US industrial military complex, yeah, or the US military, they conducted an experiment to see if extrasensory perception, that's ESP, extrasensory perception was real, one, and two, could we weaponize it for the war effort? Remember, in 1943, World War II was coming up. World wars don't just happen. They see it coming and they plan for it. So the US Army was like, yo, we want to see if we can use spiritual superpower stuff in the war effort. Imagine if we could use like invisibility or levitation and stuff in war, then we'd have the upper hand over our enemies. You see what I'm saying? A whole lot of taxpayers' money into this Philadelphia experiment. And they had all the leading scientists working on the project, the leading scientists of the time. And remember, the Philadelphia experiment was just a smaller part of a bigger project called the Manhattan Project. You catch that for yourself too. So within this Manhattan Project, you had various different other projects too, like the Rainbow Project, the Philadelphia Experiment. There's different projects going on with Philadelphia experiment. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, we're dealing with the Philadelphia experiment. So this was to see if they could achieve invisibility and certain different extrasensory perception stuff. Yeah. They ended up putting a boat out in a bay. I can't remember exactly what bay it was, with 16 sailors on it. Yeah. And they watched from the shore, and it was a couple miles out from shore, and they ran this experiment. Now, what was this experiment? As I said, they had top scientists working on this project, yeah? So all your big names like your Nikola Teslas, your Albert Einstein, later on Wernher von Braun, all the big wigs of back then was working on this Manhattan Project in certain different... Nikola Tesla was working specifically on the Philadelphia experiment to see if they could achieve this invisibility to make like the ship go invisible. So he ended up building a reactor, a nuclear sun. So it puts out so much power, so much radiation that it could access the Earth's magnetic field. Remember, we've spoken about the magnetic field before. I think it was the Anunnaki lives talking about how this is one of the treasures of this world. Why aliens want this world so much? Because we got a banging magnetic field. So we got free energy everywhere. We got a grid full of all of this energy and all the meridians and dragon lines or ley lines, if you want to call them that. So they wanted to access the magnetic field to see if they could refract the light so that the light doesn't reach back to whoever's looking. The light doesn't go back to their eyes. You know how light bounces off of objects and goes back into your iris and you invert the image, all of that stuff there, yeah? It doesn't go back to your eyes. So it bounces away, kind of like the stealth bomber. So really, you're looking at nothing. You're not going to see nothing. It's going to be there, but you can't see it. You're just going to look straight through it. It's going to look like nothing's there. So they trying for that. And in order to do that, they feel like, okay, we got to access the Earth's magnetic field. And in order to do that, we need X amount of energy. So Nikola Tesla is building this nuclear reactor type device, right? He's building this device. It generates so much energy. It ends up generating so much energy that it will kill all the sailors. So Nikola Tesla tried to sabotage the project, yeah? He was like, yo, if I build this and turn it on, so much radiation is going to come from this nuclear reactor. All these sailors on board the ship are going to die. We all know Nikola Tesla was a humanitarian. He's not an evil person. So him feeling like, yo, this is irresponsible. He tried to sabotage the project. He told his bigwig bosses, listen, this is never going to work. It's all a bunch of crap. It's not going to work. He tried to sabotage the project, yeah? You know how the US Army are and the bigwigs, the politicians and stuff. Especially when they put so much money into something. They not going to let you sabotage nothing. So they replaced Nikola Tesla with, I'm sure it was Wernher von Braun after the Project Paperclip. They replaced Nikola Tesla. No, it couldn't have been because this is 1943. So this is before Wernher von Braun even came onto the scene. It was, I think it's von Neumann. That's why I'm getting confused. One of them, y'all can check it for yourself, yeah? They replaced Nikola Tesla and told this cat, listen, we put a lot of money into this project. See what you can salvage. They try and salvage the project. Get whatever we can out of it because we don't want to just put money in nothing and just lose it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they salvaged the project. Even after Nikola Tesla's initial warnings, yeah, they still went ahead with this thing, knowing that these sailors were in danger and stuff. They turned that bitch on. You understand? And what was said that happened when they turned this machine on? Obviously, Hollywood have made it a movie now, so most people would think, oh, you're just talking about Hollywood movies and stuff, the Philadelphia experiment. Because remember, the government have never admitted to this. Even up to this day, the US government haven't said, yeah, we did a Philadelphia experiment. You know how their track record is. They won't admit to certain stuff. So they've never admitted to this. They've said, yo, that's some Hollywood thing. We never did it. Yeah, liars, yeah. But anyway, they turn this machine on and so much radiation happens. They access the Earth's magnetic field. I'll try and sum it up for you. A pink mist started surrounding the ship, like a pink mist, yeah? And then the sailors start running around crazy because some of them are disappearing out of reality and reappearing in reality. And they're disappearing here and reappearing over there. Or disappearing over there and reappearing over here. All type of weird shit's going on. Like, you understand what I'm saying? These are real human sailors disappearing, fading in and out of reality. You understand? And some of them now, when they come back, imagine if I come back in reality, but I've come back inside this wall. So my face is sticking out the wall, but I'm inside the wall, like my hands hanging out the wall and stuff, because they dematerializing and materializing in the wrong place. Yeah, they're not materializing where they were. So you could just end up in the wrong place, like inside this wall. Some of these sailors were stuck inside the metal of the ship. They were inside the metal of the ship and stuff. And they were clearly like losing their minds, running around the hull going crazy and shit. Two of the sailors were on the bottom deck. They had the responsibility of turning this machine on and managing this machine that Tesla had built. Turn it on and turn it off. Them two people are 𝓆𝓏𝓃𝓃 and 𝆥𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓏. Yeah, they're the two main guys who were below deck. So they were kind of unaffected by all of the stuff that's going on deck, but they could hear the commotion. And this machine has started malfunctioning too, because when they tried to turn it off, 𝓆𝓏𝓃𝓃, who said on interview, the thing wouldn't turn off. It was like it was jammed, and it was like it was heating up, like it was about to pop. So the first thing they do now is run up on deck. Flee, run up on deck, and then they see the madness happening on deck. And how 𝓆𝓏𝓃𝓃 describes it, he says, there was even little entities, what we call greys today, them little grey egghead aliens. This is the first time this UFO shit started again. Notice I said again, because UFOs and aliens have always been here since the start, but they haven't always been interfering. They could just watch from the background as the watchers, like, yeah, they're getting on with it. It's only when we get into the 1920s, 1940s, when they're like, yo, what are these mankind down here doing? Yo, listen, we're going to have to go down here and talk to certain governments and stuff. Yo, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And this is what's been happening, but your government's been hiding it from you. Let me stick to the topic, yeah? So anyway, this shit's malfunctioning. So 𝓆𝓏𝓃𝓃 and 𝆥𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃, the first thing they think about, yo, jump overboard. Man has just jumped over the board and jumped in the water to swim ashore. These men have swam ashore, yeah? And when they've swam ashore, they're, what do you call it? It's not the captain who sails the ship, but the geezer who's in charge of them, their leading officer, commanding officer, let's call it that. He's waiting on the shore for them. But when they come to the shore now and obviously they're wet and stuff, and come to this guy's aged 40 years. He's an old man with white hair and shit. He's aged 40 years. Remember, this is 1943. These niggas came out in 1983. When they jumped over the ship, everything that's going on around that ship, yeah, is a portal now. They've opened the magnetic field. But when they've accessed the Earth's magnetic field, they've also accessed the Earth's time field. They never anticipated this, the scientists, yeah? So the Earth's got a magnetic field and a time field. The magnetic field now, the North Pole, is what the ancestors call 𝓆𝓏𝓃, which is hot electromagnetic force. 𝓆𝓏𝓃, North Pole. And then South Pole, you have 𝓆𝓏𝓃, which is cool or cold electromagnetic force. When them two forces meet, you get a plane of inertia, or the flat plane Earth that we're walking on. Do you understand what I'm saying? But anyway, they've accessed the time field, yeah? And I'll explain it to you like this. Time is an illusion because time is relative. You understand? So it has to relate to something, otherwise it doesn't exist. Now is infinite. So if I say now, tomorrow I can say, yo, right now, it's still going to be now. 100 years from now, it's still going to be now. Do you understand? Even if I go back in time, there's somebody still now. Now never ends. It's infinite. And because we're finite beings in an infinite experience, we have to create ways of navigating what is infinite. So we call it time. So that's why there's a proverb that says time is the seed of matter, is the seed of the universe. Yeah? It's like this. If you put a DVD in your DVD player, you don't have to start from scene 1. You can start from scene 28 and work yourself backwards. You can start from the middle. You can jump between. Yeah? It's the same with humans. When we're born, we're given what's called a zero-time reference. Yeah? That's like a lock that locks you into, let's say, my birthday, December 18th. Yeah? That's my birthday, 1980. I'm locked into that time. That's my zero-time reference. That means I won't just float up and down timelines, and just float everywhere, because it's all happening now. Like if I say, just like on the DVD, there's the beginning's on there, the middle's on there, and the end's on there. It's the same with your life. The beginning's on there, the middle's on there, and the end's on there. If you could have a way to move your zero-time reference, to move the lock, you could just climb over the wall of the past, or climb over the wall of the future, and feel like, bastard, I'm being born right now, I'm still being born. Or I'm dying right now, it's all happening right now. Do you understand? In the blink of an eye. So if you go, I don't know how much of you have watched the Lucy movie. Any of you guys watch Lucy with Morgan Freeman and Scarlett Johansson? I love Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman, yeah, both of them. And I love the topic, so I was on the edge of my seat. But anyway, there's a part in that movie, yeah, where she goes to the road and a car driving down the road. And I can't remember how they explained it, but the car driving down the road, they speed it up. They press fast forward and make it faster and faster. And car driving down the road, they speed it up. They press fast forward and make it faster and faster, and have time. And time and space is linked. Movement, all of that shit. E equals MC squared. Speed, mass, and force. You understand? Movement. It's all linked. So they found these stuff out when they was doing the Philadelphia experiment in 1943. This is like 70 years ago. They already found all this stuff out that we're talking about here. Do you understand? And where was I? Yeah, they jumped over the ship and all that. What they found is that they tore a hole in the space fabric. They tore a hole in the space fabric right over the area where the Philadelphia experiment was done. And what was happening is the Earth was sucking itself out of existence through this wormhole that they've ripped open during this Philadelphia experiment. So it's jeopardized the whole planet. If they didn't close that hole in time, we wouldn't even be here right now. We'd have been sucked out of existence. And when I say we, I mean everyone, even your gods, the Anunnaki. We'd have been sucked out of existence. And when I say we, I mean everyone, even your gods, the Anunnakis, all of existence. And when I say we, I mean everyone, even your gods, the Anunnakis, all of us, we'd have been gone. And that's why they're here, these aliens, because it ain't just about us. There's stuff we can do on this planet here that affects, because it ain't just about us. There's stuff we can do on this planet here that affects the whole, because it ain't just about us. There's stuff we can do on this planet here that affects the whole neighborhood. Of shit, man. Yeah? They needed to find a solution to close this porthole. They ended up having to find, because you know when they swum up to the general and he was 40 years older, he says to them, yo, we've been looking for you, man, for the last 40 years. They've been looking for Al Bielek and Tim Duncan for the last 40 years since that experiment when they jumped over the ship. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now they explained to him what had happened and how they had to send him back through the hole because in 1947, they tried to do another experiment to rectify the first one and made it worse. They made the hole even bigger. And they was telling him they found out we have to send you back through the portal for you to shut off the machine because the machine's still on. And what had happened when they tore space fabric, yeah, it created multiple timelines on Earth. This is what we're calling the Mandela Effect from what happened here with the Philadelphia experiment. You see why I'm taking you back to the Philadelphia experiment? And it happened on the 40th parallel. Is it the 40th or 30th? I think it's the 40th parallel. Forgive me for being so sketchy today, guys. I think it's the 40th parallel. Research it for yourself. Every 40 years, this shit opens again. And stuff happens in the earth. Your governments just cover it up. Yeah? But anyway, yeah, it created multiple timelines. Remember what I said about the infinite now? A good book on this infinite now topic is Eckhart Tolle. The book's called The Infinite Now. That book helped me loads years ago, and I would recommend that book to anyone. Eckhart Tolle with the E on the end, Tolle. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Get that book, yeah? But as I said, because time and space is linked, yeah, with the mass and speed and force and all of that, it's the same when you look into quantum, when you look into like relativity and super relativity and super symmetry. You look into your string theory and your Torsian theory with their 11 dimensions, and they're talking about all time, all space, all matter, and all. It's all that type of shit. But to sum it up for you, what I'm trying to say is, we live in a multiverse. Some people say omniverse, right? So we're all aware that we have parallel lives and parallel universes all throughout in different dimensions and everything. We've got parallel. You live in every reality possible. Yeah. Anything you can think of, that possibility exists somewhere in this omniverse, in this simulation. Okay. So in saying that, what I'm trying to say is all of these parallel worlds exist at the same time, but not in the same space. So if you ever watch like something like Universal Soldier with Van Damme, or sorry, Time Cop with Van Damme, yeah, or any time travel movie, all the same time travel movies, they tell you one thing: oh, you know what? If you see yourself in the past, don't touch yourself. You can't touch you from the past or you from the future, because the both of you will cancel out. You just cancel yourself out of existence. Why? Why is because the two of you can occupy the same time, but not the same space. Like one timeline has to win over all the other timelines. They all converging on the same point. So you can't have 3 timelines in one space. They will fight for dominance. And if it's 3, 2 of them have got to go. So one timeline has got to win, and the other 2 have got to go from this reality. They still exist in another reality, but here in this reality, they got to go. So now what we're seeing on Earth with the Mandela Effect is a battle for timelines. There's various different timelines running on Earth right now in a battle. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of people. And when I say bunch, I'm talking by the millions. I know some of them that say, yo, Mandela died in the 70s. And I'm like, nah, I remember when Mandela died just the other day. When was it? It weren't more than 10 years ago. Put it that way. 10, 15 years ago, Mandela died. Yo, there's a whole millions of people that tell you, yo, I remember Mandela dying in the 70s. I'm talking about like, come on, half the world. How the hell do you have that? They're adamant. They remember the funeral. They remember he died in the 70s. Yeah. Ask yourself, when did Mandela die? Do you understand? If you look at the Britney Spears video, Oops, I Did It Again. A black skirt. Yeah. Half of it, I remember her wearing a black skirt. Yeah. Now she's wearing that other skirt, the pleated skirt. What is it? The green and bluey pleated skirt. Yeah. Monopoly. You know that little glass that they wear in their eye with the little rope, the little glass? He wore one of them shits on his eye, yeah? Today, Monopoly man don't have it. If you ask Google, they say he never had it. He never wore that shit. Google says Jackson 6. I remember the Jackson 5. Try it. I've Googled it. And it said, yo, Jackson 6. And I was like, what? I was like, nah, man, it's a Jackson 5. The fuck? Jackson 6. So what I'm saying now is there's multiple timelines fighting for this space, for dominance in this space here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you will notice certain little details, these small little details in your world change. Say, hold on, this is not what we learnt in school. The heart was on the left side of the body. Now all of a sudden the heart's in the middle. Like, Like the heart was always on the left side of the body and that. Yeah, what else? There's more. Hold on, I wrote some down. I'm not even looking at my notes, which is a good thing. I'm just comfortable talking like this. Yeah, Looney Tunes. The way Looney Tunes was spelt, tunes is T-O-O-N-S. Now it's like tunes, like T-U-N-E-S. Like, hold on, like music tunes. It weren't like that. It was T-O-O-N. There's stuff in the Bible too that's changed since the Mandela Effect. Stupid little stuff. Like if it says a dog and a sheep, it's now a lion and a sheep. Like, hold on, it was a dog. So something's changed in our world. It's called a Mandela Effect. It's because of what they did in 1943 with the Manhattan Project, specifically the Philadelphia experiment. I'm not going to go on much longer. I'll answer some of your questions, yeah? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Time and space is linked. And remember, you have natural time, clock time, and cosmic time. They're not the same. So with clock time, like our clocks, yeah, they did an experiment where they put one clock, like let's say 6 miles, drill into the earth, 6 miles down inside the earth, subterranean. They put one clock down there. They put one clock on the surface and they put one clock in a plane. And all of them track time differently. Yeah. I can't remember which one was fastest. I think it's the one in the plane was fastest and the one in the center of the earth was slowest. And there's no way to explain it. They'd explain it as, yo, time is relative. The clock and how electromagnetics affect the clocks differently. But all of them record time differently. And it's the same like if you went on a space shuttle, yeah, and you went on a space flight, you would age differently. Your time would pass differently than people on Earth. Whereas you might see in 1 year, you come back to Earth and they're like, yo, 30 years has passed, rude boy. We don't understand this more time. When we're dealing with time, a lot of people have a false concept of time. They think it's real, like linear, like back then, yeah, in the past, and it's linear and it moves up. Time don't move up, it don't descend down, it don't come from left, it don't go right. Time is now. Full stop. That's it. And anybody that tells you any differently is trying to make you a prisoner of time. That's why they like to lock us in watches and what time is it? And we're always watching the time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I say that to say natural time, clock time, and cosmic time. And when they did that experiment on Earth, they lost 3 years of natural time, according to Dr. York. And when that happened, they started this bullshit talking about daylight saving hours. So twice every year, they put your clock forward and put your clock backward and tell you, yeah, it's daylight saving hours. We're saving daylight. The fuck is that? How are you going to save daylight? Do you understand what I'm saying? The reason they do that is because since that Philadelphia experiment, the planet is out of whack with natural time. And that's a problem, rude boy. That's why most of us is like, yo, why is time just so mad right now? Yo, my daughter's 18. I remember having my daughter in my hands like, yo, like it was just no more than 10 years ago or something. That's stretching it. Maybe you understand. It's like, hold on, she's 18. Yo, I feel like I'm an old dude. The times just went, phew. But you know what I'm saying, right? Time is just going crazy. In your Bible, if you guys are familiar with your Bible prophecies and Revelation, it tells you about in the last days our time will be sped up. If you're coming from the Quranic perspective in your hadiths and stuff, you should know about the quickening. When Allah says, yo, in the end is going to be the quickening. I'm going to speed up time because if I don't, everybody's dead. It's going to be so dread that I'm forced to speed up time because this great tribulation, this 7 years of tribulation, what you guys are going to go through, it will take all of you out if I don't speed up time. So now, when you link it to what I'm saying with this Philadelphia experiment and shit, you can understand like, bastard, this shit's for real, man. Like they screwed up natural time and now they're trying to salvage it. They're trying to put the planet back into this natural sync, but it's not going. It don't fit back into natural sync. It don't matter how much time they try and shift and change this. And like I said in my book, I said it in Coronation too. I said that all of this puts us 8 years behind. When you add up everything and everything they did, we're 8 years behind. So if the Mayans said, okay, in 2012 is going to be the end of the world, they're talking about 2020, the day when your lockdown started and everyone started rebelling against the governments and the George Floyd shit and the whole world went mad. Every prophecy the Mayans mentioned to happen in 2012 happened in 2020. But most of us missed it because we already gave up on the Mayan prophecies. 2012 came, we was like, what? Man, that shit's a myth. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't understand how the calendars are all over the place. They changed the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, add on 1,000 years here, add on this here, add on... You understand what I'm saying? So from my research, and it's shown that, yo, 2020 is the 2012 with the Great Conjunction and all that shit. So that means we've done 25,920 years in a cycle. But because they keep playing with stuff, yeah, they can delay it. They can like hinder the thing. Because I remember in my holy tablets, I'm not going to grab it. Dr. York says, oh, we'll be here by 2000. But if they hinder us, key words, but if they hinder us, if they try to hinder us, we will be here by 2030. You understand? So we had the Y2K shit in 2000. Everybody, yo, it's the end of the world and that. And now we got this 2030 shit where the eyes are on 2030. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's sitting in line with the holy tablets. Whatever we think about Dr. York, he knew some shit that we didn't. Because it's in sync with the holy tablet, man. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, we lost 3 years of natural time. And just let me go over this again for you guys as well. We're already on unnatural time because we've been given time that starts with a second. You can't get a second without having a first. When you go back to the calendar of 𝓆𝆤𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓏𝓃 and Tahuti, their calendar was based on a 1 and a 0, which is binary code. It wasn't based on no 6 and no 0, which is sexagesimal, yeah, or base 60. That came from reptilians who touched down in Sumeria, Enlil and Theirs, and they wanted to bring out money and change the time system and all of that palaver. That's them, man, you understand? But our calendar was based on a 1 and a 0, and we had 1,000 moments inside a first, and then we had 100 firsts inside a minute, and then 100 minutes inside a second, and then 100 seconds inside and then 100 minutes inside an hour. That's how we did it, and we had 10 days in a week, and 30 days in a month, and 12 months. So that gives you 360. That's a full perfect. Keyword, perfect circle. We don't need no 5 extra days. We don't need no leap years or none of that shit. So perfect circle, 360 degrees. 360 is 9 if you add up all them numbers. That was our natural time. Do you understand? Just like if you put a bucket under a tap and let the tap drip. Every drip, that's natural time. That's 1 second in natural time. Do you understand what I'm saying? We went away from them water clocks and stuff, and allowed these Phoenicians and Greeks to come up with these calendars and shit and replace your first time. You're from the first times, the Zeptepi. Us, menelated people. We don't operate on seconds. And that's why they make fun of you and say, oh, you're on black man timing because you can't even operate on seconds. You're the first. Oh, you're on the black man's always late, innit? Yeah, black man timing because they got you in a spell. And you don't even get it. Julian calendar. Who's Julian? Do you know Julian? And that's the calendar you go by. Or some Islamic calendar. All these moon calendars, lunar calendars, and we're solar people. Anyway, let me stay on this thing, yeah? So you get that. We had 1,000 moments in every first, and 100 firsts in every second, and 100 seconds in every... That was the original calendar of 𝓆𝆤𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓃 and Tahuti. That's how we as black people track time so we could get the best out the day. That works for us. That Julian calendar don't work for us. Daylight saving hours and all this bullshit. They lost track of time, natural time, with this Philadelphia experiment. And then anyway, when you go back to 1572, Pope Gregory added 12 days and changed the calendar from the Julian calendar, like I said, to the Gregorian calendar. Pope Gregory, 1572. Some people say 1582. 10-year difference. You understand what I'm saying? And they added 1,000 years to the calendar. So anytime you see a 1, like 1800, more time, that's not even 18. That's the letter I, the Roman numeral I, with 8 and then 18. So that would be the year. The I stands for the year, and then 818. So when they telling you, oh, this was 19 this and this was 16 this, nah. If you're going by your Bible, that Noah stuff, that happened 4,000 years ago and shit. If you're going by the facts, what you're seeing, that shit happened just the other day. That was like 500 years ago. Egypt, all of that shit. They lied to us, telling us, oh, that was way back, like 2,000 years ago, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, way back in the midst of it. That shit was the other day. And that's why they've been hiding this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they've been hiding this stuff. It's not just Tartaria. Some of that ancient stuff that they tell you is ancient, that shit happened just the other day. And I might sound crazy saying that to some of you. But if you give me the benefit of the doubt and say, let me really look into this for myself and not just make up my mind based on what I'm hearing tonight. Let me look into it, spend 2 weeks on it or whatever, and cross-reference. And then I'll make my conclusion. Some of us just want to make a conclusion on the spot. And most of us, no disrespect, don't know nothing about nothing. You understand? We just got a bunch of emotional reactions and religious fictional beliefs and stuff like that. Anyway, so the UFO phenomena started with this Philadelphia experiment. They started seeing what they call flying saucers or Foo Fighters in World War I and shit. But it wasn't until the Philadelphia experiment that the UFO sightings started getting heavy. And remember, these sailors already reported that there was little green men, just like the sailors were fading in and out of reality. There was aliens just turning up on board and that, like just looking at man and that. What the hell are you man doing? What have you done here? You understand what I'm saying? So they was turning up. These are the Galactic Council now. Like, what the hell is this? This is terrible. You understand? Same way when they dropped the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb, they nearly cracked the surface of the earth. We is nearly all dead off that. We might just look at it like a video. Oh yeah, that's when they dropped the bomb. They nearly cracked the surface of the earth with that bomb there, that hydrogen atom bomb, whatever bomb. Nagasaki and Hiroshima and Cambodia, which don't get spoken about, that got bombed too. So this Mandela effect is a result of us living in a multiverse, in a multidimensional, omniverse, multiverse, whatever you want to call it. And it has parallel realities. And you exist in all of these realities. That's why sometimes when you have a deja vu, that's you meeting with having the same thought as one of your other parallel realities. Like, fuck's sake, I swear I've seen this face here before, you know. Or you know what, I've walked down this road before. Where have I walked down this road before? And you might be saying that shit to yourself in the parallel reality too. Like, yeah, hold on, why do I feel like you understand what I'm saying? But it's because we're in a multiverse. So now, because they've did what they've did without sanction, they weren't sanctioned to do what they was doing. They playing with stuff just like CERN is still doing it, by the way. You understand what I'm saying? They created a scenario on Earth where you've got multiple timelines running at the same time, fighting for dominance. You understand? Fighting for dominance. Even sometimes you'll see a figure and they look totally different than they used to look. Like Putin, all of a sudden it's like, hold on, this Putin must have came from another timeline and shit that. Because he don't look the same. Since 2018, yeah, Christmas, when he disappeared for 6 weeks and his wife said, listen, that ain't my husband. Yeah? They replaced him or some other timeline. I really feel like that. Like, hold on, these timelines are replacing shit. You ever seen them videos where cars are driving down the motorway and whatever, and a car just appears out of nowhere from another timeline? It just appears out of nowhere, or a person just appears out of nowhere, or an animal, mad shit like that. This is what this Mandela effect is. And that's why it's messed up the world. And your governments are not telling you about it, but they're all vying for dominance. And what they're not telling you, I'll leave you on this, yeah? All of these timelines, when you heard me say they converge on the same point, that means they all end the same. Just like Doctor Strange, when he says, look, I've looked at all the endings and blah, 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 and this is how it's going. Yo, I'm the Doctor Strange telling you all of these timelines is converging on the same point. You know what that point is? World War III, Armageddon. It don't matter what road they take or what timeline, they all end up in World War III. In a nuclear holocaust, in a nuclear Armageddon. Different scenarios of it, but it's a fucking nuclear holocaust. You understand? And they've been trying for the longest, yeah? You ever heard about the chronovisor, where they could peer into the future and peer into the past? It's called time lensing technology, yeah? They was trying to use that to say, okay, yo, how can we? Until they came to a point where they just packed it in. They said, listen, there's no way to avert this. It's inevitable. They said it's so bad, they don't even want no one else to see the technology, the chronovisor. They dismantled it. The Looking Glass, Operation Looking Glass, look it up. They said, we don't even want no one else to see what we see. Yeah. They went and had a look at Jesus and all types of shit to confirm. They know everything. Yeah. And they know they can't avoid what's about to happen. It's their fault. They messed up the timelines and they made a situation where we got multiple converging timelines now. Yeah. So let me leave it at that and, go through some of these, if there is any. I'm assuming there is, so let me not assume, but let me have a look and see if there's anything here I could help people out with. I hope this is something that benefited you guys. I really do hope you go and research it for yourself and don't just take my word for it. Like, I'm not trying to start a religion or nothing. I'm just trying to make us, just trying to develop discussion and make us more aware of how easily we overlook certain things and shit like that. Yo, Barbara Freeman, me come soon, man, for me haircut star. Respect. Yeah. What's the Mandela effect? Has it anything to do with... Bro, are you really asking that? Hudson Bay. Oh, is that where they did it? The Philadelphia experiment. Shout out to Bill I Am for giving me that Hudson Bay. I think it's in this. But yeah, my brain is just not with the. I'm a bit sketchy with. I'm usually sharper than this. You get me? Today is not. It's not happening tonight. So yeah, shout out to Bill I Am, Hudson Bay. Hello, fellow Soul Sparks. Yo, shout out to everyone in the chat, man. Whether we've spoke before, whether you've come on my page before, whether you're black, white, purple, pink, all of that, yeah? As long as you're not one of them alphabet people, yeah? You can't censor me for saying that. If you are, come out to me house. To blood clot. Must be you, Dr. TikTok. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, man. It's just that I get so much censoring. I had time off. I stopped using TikTok for about a month where I was like, yo, allow this. They deleted it, man. That was a good page with some good videos. And YouTube, that was worse. We had like 500 videos on there. Every topic under the sun. I kid you not. So the YouTube I got now, guys, please go and join it. TZT Book Mafia. It's fresh. We've only just made it because YouTube deleted our page. So I was like, yo, I'm going to have to make a new page. And they even gave me the message, you can never have another YouTube. So I had to do this ninja shit just to have another YouTube. Yeah, so I kind of just let it slowly just build back up a bit. But I think it's about 30 people right now. But there's four-part Anunnaki Live is uploaded on there and a few other things. We'll build it up as we go along. No, they won't admit the pineal gland. Have you seen that document? I think I've got it posted on this TikTok where the CIA's document leaked. How it shows you they've been studying this extrasensory perception for a very long time and pulling the wool over our eyes. No, it don't exist. Remember, certain scientists don't even believe the soul exists. They say, yo, the soul don't exist. Yeah, it's a myth. The mind, where is the mind? Is it really in your head or are you in your mind? Yeah. So there's certain things that they will never tell you the truth about. When them CIA papers show you, because they got diagrams with the pineal gland and he's projecting himself, astral projection and all of that shit there. You understand? They will never admit it. Disclosure is never going to come from our government. You really think one day they're just going to come out and talk about aliens or the falsification of anything? Hell no. That's going to come from us. If they do disclose, it's going to be controlled disclosure where they are disclosing so that they can control the narrative and control the reaction of the public. And that's what's been happening since 2020. They know they're going to have to address and talk about certain things, just like you're seeing with the alien thing now. But what they'll do is control the narrative. So we're not in control of that narrative. We'll still be casted as conspiracy theorists. I'm amazed that the word conspiracy theory is still being used. There's no more. They're all fucking come true. Of course, you got a couple crackpots who are just making some stupid, outlandish conspiracy theories, of course. But I'm talking about the credible shit, yeah, it's all come true. It wasn't a lie. So people that still use that word that was made by the CIA to hide their own existence, yo, them people there annoy me, man. Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment. Yep, quantum field access. Cellular vibrations. Why is there sunlight? There's sunlight? How can there be sunlight? This is like, it's 20 to 12 a.m. If there's sunlight, it's coming off me. Yeah? It's coming off my aura. That's what the camera's picking up, yeah? You know how a camera be picking up reptilian shapeshifts and shit? You probably see me turn into an Etherian and just turn into a fucking ball of light. I'm only joking, yeah? That's that Sam, yeah? I'm in my bedroom with my lamp on, yeah? Like my thing light, my live light that I used to do lives. I'm on the West Coast and there's still sun. West Coast, are you in America? West Coast, Los Angeles. If you are, shout out Los Angeles, yeah? I got people in Los Angeles, man. Shout out my girl, Melinda. Yeah. Oh, you guys are having your own conversation in the... I love seeing people have their own conversation in the comments. That's some funny shit. Okay, is there no like... Guys, have you got no questions from what I just said? If you got any questions, drop them out, man. You know? This is Asar Sank Neferu. Yo, wicked name. Asar Sank Neferu. Facts. That was indeed happening. Their 3D foundation, we're being compromised, yep. 𝓆𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓃, yep, use polarization techniques. They created the experiment to punch a hole between our third dimension to the duppy fourth dimension, yep, to the lower fourth, where a lot of, or you call the psychic realm, a lot of evil entities live there. That's what CERN's doing too. Every time they bash them particles together, talking about they're looking for the Higgs boson and shit. You know what a boson is and fermions and all that. I shall have to do a live one time about quantum physics and metaphysics and get y'all familiar with the terms and shit like torsion theory and quarks, zelis, biapertures. We're going to talk electrons, neutrons, protons, toroid fields, all of that shit. I'll do it. Maybe if you're lucky, I'll do it on Sunday. Because tomorrow, guys, tune in tomorrow at 10 p.m. English time, GMT time, for the King Tut and Akhenaten live. I believe it's gonna be powerful, and it help you to put a lot of things into perspective in regards how they relate to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and this Messiah thing about the Messiah, Jesus, and all of that. Yeah, that's right. Long Ting 10. They created that shit to get through to the lower fourth, the psychic realm. It's been synthesized already. What is that, Robert? When you say it's, I'm lost on the it's. What is it? You mean the timeline's been synthesized? I'm baffled. Sam says she's baffled. I don't know what you're baffled about, Sam. So you'd have to fill me in. People don't know. People don't know. I'm just reading people's shit here. We know this because the jinn, duppy, ghosts, etc. have contacted man. They contacted you, yeah? Love this context. Shout out to Daryl Taylor, 290. Time as a relative distance in space, yeah. Time and space is linked. It's like when people say, yo, what happened before the Big Bang? Yeah, they want to know what happened 10 minutes before the Big Bang. There's no minutes before the Big Bang. Minutes came from the Big Bang. Time and space came from the Big Bang. That's what their theory says, their modular standards cosmology. It says time and space was created in the Big Bang. So before the Big Bang, there's no before the Big Bang because there's no time. There's just eternity. So it's like when I say to people, did God create existence? And they say, yes, God created existence. So I said, was God existing? And then they look up in their head and they say, yeah, God was existing. So God was existing or before he created existence, because to create, God had to have been existing, right? And they say, yeah. And you just take them in circles to show them that that's just a whole bunch of bullshit. Even the Big Bang theory is flawed, yeah? Because you can't have a Big Bang out of nothing. In order to have a Big Bang or something to combust and explode, you have to have ingredients or chemicals. You understand what I'm saying? But we'll talk about all that stuff another time. I just had to mention it in this live because we're speaking about the Mandela Effect. So it wouldn't have been good for me to just speak about the Mandela Effect without mentioning time and stuff. And I only did it briefly, yeah? It's the portal in your brain, brother. What, the pineal gland? Yeah, I know that. We call it Nebheru in our language. Yeah, like it sounds a bit like Nibiru. It's the portal, yeah. It is kind of like the Nibiru of you, because it's a portal. It's a craft that takes you to other places. Yeah. Deeper consciousness. Hi, yo, hi. Hello, deeper consciousness. Nicely explained. Thanks, Joe Childs 102. Robert, it's called Spice. Aishana. Yo, I think that's a conversation that's between other people. I'm 2 days older than... You're 2 days older than me, yeah? Yo, soul family, see? We probably come from the same soul tribe. You probably say, yo, I'm going to be there 2 days before you, yeah? Shout out to Smiley, yeah? 2 days older than me and that. Oh, shit. There are 7 dimensions. Well, string theory says there's 11 dimensions. How about that? So if you're saying string theory is wrong, put it in the comments. Tell us why string theory is wrong and why it's 7 dimensions and not 11. And then people can contrast what you've put here against their own little look into. Let me go and have a look at this string theory, what Jedifery was mentioning, or torsion theory in the 11 dimensions and infinities, the problems that they reach, because that reaches problems. That's a flawed theory too. All their theories are flawed. So with string theory and that the 11 dimensions and stuff, they run into the problem that they call infinities. and they need quantum computers to get beyond that problem. We mentioned that in our new book, not this novel. Yes, I have a new book coming out too. I put books out like, yo, we the book Mafia. Yeah, I wrote books every time I incarnated. Hold on. I saw 𝓆𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓏𝓏, 100, facts 100. That's what it says in the noble Quran. Alhamdulillah. Yes, subhanallah. So I'm trying to say, there is another book after the Quran. You call the Ratib, or do you mean the Ratib? Al-Ratib for Al-Mahdi. I recognize the divinity in all holy books. Yeah, so do I. So do I. And who said this? Asar 𝓆𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓏 said this to Robert. So do I. I reckon all religion worthy of the name has truth from the Most High in it. But no religion to me is exclusive when it comes to God or wisdom or knowledge or religion. I don't buy that shit. So if one religion's telling me we're right and everyone else is wrong, that person to me, nah, you don't get it. Like, each religion is being buried in dogmas and religious fiction, half-truths and whole lies. And it's our job to sift through and find, you know what I'm saying, the truth in all of those things and take it with us and leave the rest, bin it. That's how I see it. That's what I am talking about, equality without judgment. You know what I'm saying? I'm just currently working on memorizing the entire Quran and then moving on to memorizing others. Yeah, you left it late though, because most of them Muslim countries, them people be memorizing the Quran by 5, 6, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? They do that shit in childhood. But yo, kudos to you, man. And yo, I support you. I always tell people, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and just because you know religion is fake means, oh, I'm just going to dash the Bible, there's nothing in it, that there's no keys in it for me. Or I'm going to dash the Quran, Islam's fake, there's no keys in it for me. That kind of person will never come to the truth. I'm going to dash the Quran, Islam's fake, there's no keys in it for me. That kind of person will never come to the truth. So kudos to you, Asar 𝓆𝓆𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓏. I've read all of them, man. I've got the Torah in Hebrew, the Psalms in Hebrew, I've got the Holy Tablets. I've read the Torah about 5 times. I've read the Quran cover to cover about 7 times. And that's in teenage and shit. I ain't even read that shit for years, man. I moved on from that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway. Indeed, many were given the message. Now it's our time to give the message. It's our time to, remember, collective consciousness is real, man. So a lot of people have never understood that the government was not to be trusted, and they really got themselves in the pattern of really thinking this shit was real, man. So we should never look down on other people for not knowing stuff. Like, I don't get down like that. Like, I remember a time when probably I didn't know some of this shit that I'm speaking about now. So I always try and stay humble. Don't get me wrong, when dickheads come in the comments, I have a laugh with them, and I'll just have a laugh with them, yeah? I'm talking about genuine people who, because you can tell genuineness. Like, I don't belittle people for not knowing shit. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. What's wrong is not wanting to know or acting like you know everything. Like, I will never go on like I know everything. If I don't know something, I'll tell you guys, listen, I don't know. Because to me, that's the mark of a good teacher. If he don't know, he's going to say, I don't know. He's not going to sit there and make up a whole bunch of shit just so he can continue having likes or having, maybe that's why I don't have a big platform. Because I don't have it in me to do that shit. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle is selling the spirit path. He helped me, man. That book there helped me. I was in jail when I read that book. I'll share with you guys, yeah. I was at my lowest point. And somebody, I can't even remember who told me about that book, but somebody told me about the book. And I was working in the prison library. So I was like, yo, can we order books in? They was like, yeah. I was like, wicked. I had the Celestine Prophecy, the 10th Insight, the fucking Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, The Pilgrimage. What else did I have? Christian Jack, The Crown. Oh, yo, I had so much. My book had more books in it than the prison library. People used to walk past the prison library and walk to my cell just so they could get a book. My battery's flashed 20 minutes, yeah? That's an endearing take, brother. Thanks, user. All them numbers. Yo, why do you guys leave your name as just a user with all them numbers? But why is it the same thing with slight changes? Why couldn't it be completely different? How do you know it's not completely different? Have you not seen all the completely different shit happening in the world right now? Creatures and everything. Yo. Doctor Strange and the I still need to watch Doctor Strange 2. I can't believe I still ain't watched that. Yo. This is the real stuff. It happened in 2012, born in 1964. I can testify that there has been something. Shout out, Frank. Some of that is miseducation. Some of what? We're having an incursion in terms of that movie. That's actually happened to people, and sadly they began to lose their mental integrity. Yeah. Daylight. Daylight. Alhamdulillah, indeed. So we are in 2014. How did you reach that? Maths there? Your math is bad, bro. If I said 2012 was 2012 is really 2020, yeah? We're 8 years ahead, yeah? What about Nibiru? What about it? We're speaking about the Philadelphia experiment and the Mandela experiment and the Mandela thing. I'm sure there's loads of videos on my page that go into Nibiru a bit. Is there? It don't really make sense doing a live just on Nibiru. You might as well speak about the whole Anunnaki thing. So if you go into them Anunnaki lives that we posted on the YouTube, yeah, I'm sure you'll find everything you need to find on Nibiru. And if not, just leave a question in the comments on the YouTube and I'll address it. Yeah. Yes, a solar and lunar year was 360 days. Exactly, yeah. And they even have like one calendar. Because remember, they didn't have one calendar. The Kemetians, our ancestors, they had different calendars for different things. So they had a calendar for agriculture. They had a calendar for festivals and stuff. They had different type of calendars. They had one calendar that had 13 months on it. It weren't even 12 months. It was 13 months, you know? So things like that. I think the Mayans were the same too. They had more than one calendar. They didn't just go off one calendar. They had about 3. Not crazy at all. Some people, yo, this guy's crazy. He sounds crazy. Egypt still existed in American colonial times because true Egypt is in America. That's what Americans say. You probably an American. Egypt was a worldwide culture that affected everywhere. That's how big it was. So it's reason why they find it everywhere. They find Egyptian culture in France. Doesn't mean France is the real Egypt. Indeed. Let me in the multiverse world. I've been speaking about the Grand Canyon since 2018 in this, saying that, yo, there was a whole civilization that went into the Grand Canyon. It doesn't mean they came from there. They had cartouche from Tutmosis III found on the Mississippi River and shit, man. He didn't come from Mississippi. He went there. I don't believe in anything. Nats Gas Rico. Belief is a false word. I know what I speak and I speak what I know. I'm not a religious man. Like Spider-Man, No Way Home. I've got a spiritual culture. It's my art. We have our own moral code. So I don't believe in anything. Belief is Abrahamic. I'm not an Abrahamic person. Rising sun, respect to you, yeah? Sad. Religion is not needed, but whatever people want to explore, right? No, not whatever you want to do. That's some Aleister Crowley shit. Do as thy will. You need to go and look at Matt. You need to have a moral code of conduct because humans are born with our own sat-nav anyway. So we already know what's right and wrong. If you need a religion to tell you what's right and wrong, then you're just a shit human. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it's deep, man. Geo5. Hey, Natalie Sunshine. Sad but true. Skin it up. Yes, light it up. Armor, Planet X, yeah, YouTube, at TZT Book Mafia. How do the layers play its part, like the dimensions and such? When you're talking about layers and dimensions, we usually think they're on top of one another, but they're not. They're kind of blended in. So with every dimension, there's a crossover point. So let's say dimension 1 and 2, just to keep it simple. There's a point between 1 and 2 where you're in both dimensions because the 2 circles are overlapping. So that little space in between where they overlap, if you can stand there, you're in both dimensions. So you like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Cats do that. Cats are in more than one dimension at once. Yeah. So each dimension has a crossover point into the next dimension. So it has a lower part. You have like, let's say we're in the third dimension, right? You have a lower third and a higher third. So if you go into the fourth dimension, you have a lower fourth and a higher fourth. And it's usually in the lower parts of the dimensions that the lower aspects of entities operate from. Like if you're talking about the fourth dimension, in the lower fourth dimension is where you get the archons and the demiurge and ghouls and goblins and all the jinns, if you want to use the word jinns, yeah. We'll have to talk about that another time too, like dimensions and stuff. Hopefully I've sparked you lot a lot enough in this one for you to have a look at that in the meantime for yourselves, if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm not assuming you haven't. Isn't there layers to the earth as well? Yeah, there's 7. There's 7 layers to the earth, just like there's 7. Because look, you got atmosphere, stratosphere, thermosphere, magnetosphere. You got 7 of them spheres, yeah? Just like you got 7 chakras. You see some of the videos on my on my TikTok with people who are explaining that better than I am. Yeah, the geezer who comes and tells you about the plane of inertia and stuff. I think his videos are fantastic. So yeah, that's what the 7 layers really mean. When they're talking about 7 heavens, they're just talking about the 7 skins that you need to go through the dome. But ain't nobody getting through the dome from underneath here. You understand? I guess that's the last layer. Or the first one. Whichever way. You know, I've never been out there to confirm it, you know. The YouTube name is TZT Book Mafia at Armour. TZT Book Mafia, all in one word, yeah? Like you can see the frequency vibrations in the clouds. Yeah, you can even see it in the air. I be seeing shit in the air, in the light rays, everything. Give thanks for the knowledge. Yeah, man, peace. Rising sun, trailblazers, what batteries on 17%, yeah? Why people keep asking me and believe? I don't believe in anything. Take that back to religion, man. Know yourself, yeah? The word is to know, yeah? If you want to, this religious word, yo, you religious people with this belief word, go back to John 8:32. He says, know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Now, I'm not a Christian. I'm just guiding you back to your good old little book. If you are a Christian, because you keep hitting me with this belief word. And I don't be lying to Eve, yeah? I'm Eve's seed, African seed. I don't lie to my seed. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't believe in anything. I know what I speak, and I speak what I know. If you believe aliens, or if you don't believe, that's your prerogative. I'm here trying to help you. You keep asking me about beliefs. Nigga, I don't have no beliefs. Yeah, I believe by way of the facts. Put it that way. I'm not just going to believe stuff for the sake of believing it. Can you recall the bells and frequencies that hold up its purpose to vibrations? No. Sorry. Is Planet X real? You tell me. Research it. Why did they destroy the bells? You have to give me more. What bells are you talking about? Can you recommend some books? Some books? What was we talking about? The Philadelphia experiment, yeah? Okay, what books would I recommend for you? I would recommend Secret Symbols of the Dogon. Who wrote that again? Something Layard. Hold on. I'll recommend you some books, pal. I got some books for you. The first one I recommend to you is The Super Gods, Maurice Cotterill. One of my favorite books. I swear to God, this book here is serious. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. The Super Gods, Maurice M. Cotterill. Yeah. Yeah, Cotterill. Yeah. Maurice M. Cotterill. Yeah. And this goes into the Mayan stuff and the Mayan calendar and stuff on the next level. Not just that. He compares people like Lord Paka that they found in the Temple of Palenque. You know, the Jade King? The Temple of Palenque, where he's in that spaceship-looking thing on that stone slab. So he compares him with Buddha, Vishnu, King Tut, Jesus, and all these niggas got the same teachings. So this guy is serious. He helped me out. Christian Jack is one of my favorite because I like his fact-based fiction. This is not a fact-based fiction. This is the book of Ptah Hotep, the teachings of Ptah Hotep. I had more than one version. This is my favorite version. The way he's done this is just beautiful. I like to read out of it. It's simple and easy to just flick open, digest certain little maxims and stuff. Beautiful book. This is what I was talking about. Sacred Symbols of the Dogon, and it's from Layard, Laird, Scranton, with a foreword by John Anthony West. Rest in peace. And this book's serious because it shows you, it goes into the quantum thing a bit, because you know the Dogon, they already, they have the science of the Poe, and they speak about quantum physics, string theory, torsion theory. They even speak about quarks, which our scientists have only just discovered. And our scientists have only discovered 22 different types of quarks. The Dogon elders have identified 266, man. You understand what I'm saying? And these guys knew about Sirius A, B, and C before there was even telescopes and shit. Obviously, this is a heavyweight. Yeah, the African origin of civilization, myth or reality, from the heavyweight Sheikh Anta Diop, who wasn't only just an author and someone who has opinions like half of today's crowd. This was someone who was a geneticist who had his own radiocarbon lab and took DNA material from the mummies and proved that they were black African, Negro Africans, yeah? He proved it. And they ain't dealt with him up to this day. And this is from the 60s and shit he was doing this. So he a heavyweight when it comes to digging back up the real truth. And he does it through linguistics and shit too. Through genetics, linguistics, all that stuff. Yeah? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. The Bhagavad Gita, because it's got the story of the gods and the battles over India in it. And Imhotep the African by Robert Bouval and Thomas Brophy. These lot says I'm at my max time, 10 minutes left, so I might as well just come off anyway. I've only got 10% of battery left. I'm sorry if I couldn't get through to any more questions. You feel free to message me if you really want me to have a look at what you said, yeah? Peace, guys. Respect for joining in. Tomorrow, 10 p.m, King Tut and Akhenaten live, yeah? Namaste.